Okay, first news story. Even though I've already done this, I'm gonna have to go through it again. But this time, I think you guys can hear me. Just gotta make sure on the Twitch, you guys can hear me. So let's jump straight into the roundup. Okay, first news story. Even though I've already done this, I'm gonna have to go through it again. But this. Okay, so you guys can hear me. Perfect. I just wanted to make sure the audio is working properly. Okay, all right. Let's go through this. So Pedro Pascal to star in HBO's The Last of Us, based on the video game. Mandalorian star Pedro Pascal has been cast as Joel in HBO's upcoming series The Last of Us, adapted from the popular Sony PlayStation video game from Naughty Dog. The series will take place 20 years after humanity has been all but destroyed by the mysterious virus that affects the brain. Pascal will be joined by fellow Game of Thrones star Bella Ramsey. So both these characters were in Game of Thrones, which makes sense because it is an HBO show. So you'd think they would obviously bring back people from that series. Pedro Pascal was obviously Oberyn Martell, probably one of the coolest characters in Game of Thrones history. But if you guys have seen the show, you know what happens to him. It's probably one of the most gruesome endings for a character I've ever seen. And I'm trying to remember Bella Ramsey. Did she die? Yeah, the character who plays who's gonna play Ellie. What's her name? I'm trying to remember. Season 8 was kind of terrible, but her character, she's gonna play Ellie. She kind of looks. I don't know. She doesn't really look that much like Ellie. Joel, obviously, Joel is I think Pedro Pascal is Chilean, and Joel's obviously like white. But I think Pedro Pascal is just such an amazing actor that he will do Joel justice. Like, he might not be the same ethnicity as Joel, but I think it's good enough, honestly. I personally think his acting chops will definitely help with that role. Let's see what we got. So, also in the leading role is playing 14-year-old Ellie. According to Deadline, the pair will traverse across the ravaged United States to a lab where a cure is being developed, all whilst being hunted by hordes of zombies, of course. So they're obviously going to go through the first game, the story of the first game. And I hope the first season is just the first game, because I've never actually played the second Last of Us, but I have been spoiled on what happens in that game. So I don't know. I still have to play it, but I've heard that some people like it, some people don't like it. It's a very mixed bag. Some people love the game. They think it's a 10. Some people are like, oh, you shat on my favorite characters. But that's just, that's just the way it is sometimes. It is what it is. Pascal's career has taken an upwards trajectory as of late, starting with his breakout role as Oberyn Martell, obviously, from Game of Thrones. Since then, starring in Netflix's Narcos. He's great in that show. And The Kingsman, The Golden Circle. The Kingsman, The Golden Circle, which I have not seen. I didn't know he was in it, actually. And obviously he played the lead of Mandalorian, or Din Djarin, an ongoing Disney Plus series. He's great in that show. I'm glad that he's in a show where you can actually see his face all the time, because he's too good of an actor to be behind a mask the entire time. I hope in season 3 they'll show more of him, because he's in season 2. I don't know if I want to spoil it for you guys, but he takes his mask off more in season 2. Because he did it one time in season 1, and I think season 2 he does it a couple of times. Let's see what else got. Mandalorian recently played. Okay, so he also played the bad guy in Wonder Woman in 1984. I've heard not too good things about that show. The busy thespian is currently filming Judd Apatow's movie. Okay, so he's in the Judd Apatow movie. Last of Us comes from Chernobyl creator Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, who is the creator of the Last of Us series, and is notable executive producer for Carolyn Strauss from Game of Thrones and Chernobyl also. So I like that it's the Chernobyl producer, because that show is incredibly dark. It's a very dark and moody show, and I think he'll be able to capture Last of Us 2 pretty well. And HBO is such a great TV company that creates great shows. So I think it's in under safe hands, and I'm glad they're not making a movie. I'm glad they're making a TV series, because the game itself feels like a TV series, because it's long. It's I think 15 hours long, and then the second game is 20. So I think it's good that they're making it into a TV series. Plus HBO, they can make it rated R, and have that kind of content, because the game is very, very violent and very gruesome, And it's good that they're going through HBO because HBO, they won't pull any punches. Okay, what else are we looking at? PlayStation Productions, Word Games, and the Mighty Mint and Naughty Dog are all involved in production, along with Sony Pictures Television. No news has surfaced on when the series will air. I'm assuming it's gonna be 2022 probably, because if they casted all these characters, it's gonna take at least a year to produce a TV show. So I'm not thinking until like maybe May of 2022, especially with all the COVID stuff going on. You won't see it until probably summer 2022. I can see that happening because they just casted these characters, and it takes a while for them to write it and obviously make the scripts and get the rest of the casting down. They only got the two big leads. They're gonna have to cast Tommy. They're gonna have to cast Tommy, Joel's brother. They're gonna have to cast who was a guy in the first game? I forget his name, like the gay guy in the first game. You have to cast him somehow as well. And also cast what's her name? I'm blanking all the characters' names. So there's the girl that you meet early on in the game. You have to cast her as well, and you have to cast the two brothers that are out and about. I forget their names as well. But yeah, there's still a lot of casting to go through. What else we got here? No news has surfaced on when the series will air on HBO, but according to Hollywood Reporter, the show will feature elements of last year's Last of Us 2, set 5 years after. Okay. Make that into season 2, please. Please don't. I don't know. I still have to play that game, but like I've heard just bad things about it. All right. Second news story: Fortnite creator Epic just revealed a potentially future of video game faces. Today, Epic Games, the company behind games like Gears of War, Fortnite, unveiled Metahuman, a new tool designed to help game developers build and create in-game characters in less than an hour. It is impressive and terrifying all at once. That's funny. It's impressive and terrifying. The Uncanny Valley. Let's check out this video.
I could be one of many.
You guys can hear the...
主人公にだって
Yeah, it looks like you guys can hear the...
なれる
Damn,
Je pourrais être architecte.
Ou guide.
The eyes are
Quizá
kind
un
of...
artista.
I don't think they have eyes down yet.
You create the narrative.
I
am
am Metahuman.
Hair is pretty good nowadays. Hair, like... Actually, with the eyes, that's pretty incredible. You can literally adjust anything. That's insane. The shadows are incredible too. Like usually when you see shadows on a face, there's a bit of a jaggy line. Sorry, let me go back. I gotta see a bit more of this. Yeah, mascara. See, if you look here, the shadows are very soft. Usually, like in video games, the shadows are really hard. You can tell they're like artificial. But this one has like a gradual softness to it. Like, look at this old guy, the wrinkly face. You can see the every little crevice. That's pretty incredible, actually. I don't think about it. Let me turn on. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go back. Yeah. See, look how it's kind of like real-time shadows. Like, look how soft it is. Like, you can't see any jagged edges either on the shadow. So I'm guessing this will be part of Unreal Engine 5. For game developers, character creation, particularly in high-end, high-fidelity production, can take weeks or even months. Epic has designed Metahuman in an attempt to streamline the process. According to According to Epic, it works by drawing from an ever-growing library of variant of human appearances and motion, and enabling you to create convincing new characters through intuitive workflows that let you sculpt and craft results you want. The end result looks like an incredible, complex, and malleable. I don't think I've ever seen that word for malleable. Malleable. Oh my god. Another word that I've never seen written down. Malleable version of character creators you might see in Cyberpunk 2077 or The Sims. Epic Games is well known for building tools for other developers. The Unreal Engine is one of the most widely used tool sets in all of video games and regularly pushes the boundaries of visuals in video games. It is the fifth iteration of its fifth iteration was revealed in May of last year and proved a glimpse into what could be possible in the coming years on consoles like the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, character faces are just getting more and more realistic. I think eventually we'll get to that point where, well, we can't tell the difference. That's for sure. Okay, so this story makes me feel old, because I remember when this game was announced back in like the late 2000s, and there was such a huge outcry for this game because I think the Iraq War was still going, and they thought it was too soon to make a video game about like the biggest conflict in the Iraq War. So this is 6 Days in Fallujah is ready for its comeback. The question is, are we? I think we are. I think it's been enough time after the Iraq War. But okay, so back in 2009, the world wasn't quite ready for a game set in the Iraq War. Well, times have changed. Atomic Games first announced 6 Days of Fallujah as a third-person shooter. It was a third-person shooter. I didn't know that. Set during a 6-day span as the second Battle of Fallujah unfolded in 2004. And back then, it was a different time for the world, and specifically for the place of video games occupied in pop culture. The announcement of 6 Days of Fallujah set off a round of blaring criticism, leading Konami and game publishers to cancel the release. Yeah, I remember everybody was pissed. They were just like, "Oh, this happened recently. We can't let this happen," or something like that. Now it's back. Atomic is teaming up with Highwire Games, founded by veteran of Bungie and Victura, for an updated version of the same idea. The new 6 Days of Fallujah is described as the first-person tactical military shooter. Okay, they're switching from third person to first person. Is there a new trailer? There is a new trailer. Let's check it out.
Saddam had been captured. The Iraqi army scattered. Lawlessness and fear gave al-Zarqawi his moment, and he was prepared. They seized Fallujah, and the city was the first to suffer under their black banner.
These terrorists were armed to the teeth. No one will fight against them.
It had to be stopped, or the country will turn over to Al-Qaeda.
Since 1968, since Vietnam War.
A fortress. It was a well-prepared city, buttressed, waiting for us to come.
The only way you can clear a city is you have to search every house, you have to search every room, and you have to root out every insurgent.
We sustained hundreds and hundreds of casualties. A third of my battalion was killed or wounded.
It was the bunkers they would build inside houses. And you would go in the house, it'd be all quiet. And then they would open up on you or shoot you through a hole in the wall.
If they didn't hit you right away with a machine gun, they would draw you all the way back to the back of the house where there's really nowhere to escape.
There's such a fear, so you're standing in front of the door. You kick down that door, and there's a sense of relief. You only feel it if you survive.
We can tell you our stories. We can show you our scars. But some moments must be experienced.
I can't believe this game is back. That's crazy to think about it.
I think we've done a really good job
The graphics look kind of terrible.
appreciating service members. I think we've done a very poor job of telling the actual story of what happened.
Okay, interesting. I don't know. Personally, the game doesn't look that interesting to me. Like the trailer, I don't know. It was just graphics don't look really next gen. Seems like a game that's been in development for a while. Okay, the game is a bit of a mystery at this point. Through the above trailer provides a bit more detail. It's coming to PC and unspecified console sometime in 2021, but we should be hearing more about it from Victoria in the coming weeks. The expanded description noted that the 6 days recreates the true stories of Marine soldiers and Iraqi civilians who fought Al-Qaeda during the toughest urban battle since 1968. Players lead a fire team through real-life encounters enabled by unique technology that simulates the uncertainty of tactics of urban combat. The original idea for the game came from Eddie Garcia, a former Marine sergeant who was wounded during the fighting in 2005. Davis felt then, and still feels now, that the best way to educate people on what others experience in Iraq is a virtual recreation. Sometimes the only way to understand what's true is to experience reality for yourself. Well, it's not obviously. You're obviously creating in a virtual video game. Like war, like actual combat is, we'll never know. The only people who actually fought in combat will actually ever feel it. Like we can find a way to recreate it through video games, but we'll never actually know how those people felt and what those people went through. But that's fine. It's okay. As long as we acknowledge that they paid the sacrifice. You know, they paid so we don't have to fight. War felt uncertainty through choices that can't be understood. Watching someone on TV or movie screen makes those choices for you. Video game can help all of us understand the real world events in ways other media can't. The announcement notes that the team building Six Days spoke with more than 100 individuals who were there on the ground in 2004. The details collected from those people, along with their photos and videos, gives these stories voice through gameplay and first-person accounts captured in original documentary interview footage. There is no question that both the technology and the audience fueling modern video games has matured to the point that telling serious stories about real events is an achievable goal. But when it's a shooter sticking a virtual gun in a player's hand, there are bound to be questions about focus. Well, they've made games about World War II many times, and that's been serious, you know. So I think the medium has always been a pretty good medium for storytelling and focusing on real time stuff that happened. How do I get the people holding the controller to care about anything other than targets they see in front of the gun barrel? Shooters are inherently about shooting, and turning a real life event where people were lost in the game runs a risk of trivializing those deaths. There are elements that Atomic and Highwire Ventura will have to address as more is revealed about this project. I would say Modern Warfare did a really good job at their campaign. Like that whole that level clean house where you're like inside that house and you're shooting people. That's like, honestly, that game really shows you how traumatic it is to shoot somebody, and like I think they did a really good job. Like there's certain sections in that level where like a guy grabs his, like, you know, a random girl and, like, you know, pretends he's gonna shoot her and stuff like that, and it's a really traumatic level. And I think they did a really good job on that. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if the graphics kind of look terrible, honestly, but it doesn't look that great of a game. But I don't know, maybe they'll they'll figure out a way to make it look better. But on to the next news story. This is from CGM. I've never heard of them. But objectification versus attraction in video games. So this is coming from the new recent announcement of the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is taking out like specific butt scenes from what's her name? I forget this character's name. She's like Mass Effect 2 and 3, but her scenes were like they're showing off her butt and stuff like that. So they took out those scenes completely. On February 2nd, BioWare announced that they would be releasing Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Will feature all 3 games with enhanced performance, visuals, and graphics. Project director Mark Walters explained to Metro that the game wanted to provide all players with more enhanced and overall better experience. Walters goes into detail about the female Shepard and how there was a lot of things that we could do across the trilogy to make that better. So that she's a bit more on par with male Shepard. Of these things, the one which stood out was which was not a change in character model or dialogue or tone during a personal somber discussion with the character Miranda. Miranda, that's her name. The camera lingers on her rear end in a way that downplays the gravity of the situation. This leads the developer to adjust where the camera was during this discussion. Naturally, this became a topic of huge debate on whether or not it was necessary. On one hand, people were saying to leave the game alone, claiming that it was censorship and that people are being too sensitive about this sort of thing. The other side of the debate was stating that scenes like this objectify the characters with the sole purpose of focusing her butt, and hence the Mass Effect Buttgate was born. Buttgate. So this is the scene they're talking about, how they linger on the butt a little too much. She does have a nice butt, though. This has sparked the debate about what is considered objectification, what is simply attraction or admiration for a character within a video game, especially when it comes to female characters in video games. Attraction is simply action, the action of power of invoking interest, pleasure, or liking for someone. Everyone experiences, especially in video games, since they not only offer many different types of characters, but technology allows for near unrealistic levels of beauty. That is not an issue. Appreciation of characters' look or design is completely fine. The problem arises when the same character is used to explicitly in sexual ways for sole purpose to gain the attention. Let's use Mass Effect for example. The character Miranda is beautiful, and some may find her attractive. It is perfectly fine for those individuals to express the attraction in conversation online, etc. The issue lies when the game itself focuses on Miranda's butt for no reason. I don't know. Thing is, it's like one scene that they sexually like objectify her, but it's literally like a couple of seconds, and I don't know. It's again, I'm not in control over the game, so I can't really say, oh no, you should go back and change it, or you should keep it the way it is. But if I feel like if the company wants to change it, then they can, because it's their property. They can do whatever they want with it. But it's not like a huge scene. Like I'm like, oh my god, that butt scene. Like I don't even remember that scene. Like now looking at that picture, I'm like, okay, I can now remember it. But like, when they were talking about it, I don't remember the scene. But like, it's not like a huge scene that I'm like, oh, this is really gonna help Mass Effect become, one of the greatest games ever or something, or Mass Effect 2. So I don't mind as much. I don't really care. If it was like multiple scenes that they cut out, then I would care. But if it's just this one small scene, then I would understand. But she is very sexualized in that game, and that's just her character. That's how it is. So, but yeah, I don't think I'll continue reading the story because I do want to get back into playing some Call of Duty. I'm gonna skip to the next scene. Speaking about sexuality, 2UP launched ahead of Valentine's Day to help gamers find another one. So this is a specific video game dating website. That's kind of funny. There's like Christian Mingle. There's like Muslim. I forget the Muslim one's called. I don't remember the name of it. But there's like a brown one called Dill Mill. There's specific ones for everybody. But the one thing that matters, video games. That's the one thing we're not connecting on. So we've got an app for you. 2UP launches ahead of Valentine's Day to help gamers find another one. People don't often equate gaming with dating, but maybe they should. As gaming continues to grow in popularity, particularly in the wake of the pandemic, a new startup called 2UP is launching to help gamers connect both on and off the screen. Interesting. The app was founded by a sibling duo. That's kind of weird. By a sibling duo, Stephanie and Lincoln Smith, who have been gamers since they were young. That's kind of weird. I don't know why I find that weird. 2UP isn't specifically a dating app. Users can specifically specify if they're looking for new friends or new teammates or a romantic connection on app. They also can share their preferred console or platform, favorite games, or whether they prefer to play games competitively or casually, filtering down their potential matches based on aligning interests. Delightfully, 2UP is designed with an old 8-bit aesthetic of Stoke. The startup plans on generating revenue through premium subscriptions, not unlike other matching and dating apps. A premium subscription will provide unlimited swiping, as well as charms. Charms are the equivalent of super likes, helping users get attention of someone with whom they are interested in matching. Only thing super like tells you is that you're desperate. That's all it says. If a guy sends a super like to a girl, she's gonna be like, that guy's into me. I'm not gonna talk to him. At launch, one month of premium 2UP will cost $19.99, $19.99, and 6 months will cost $12.49 per month, and a yearly subscription is $8.49 per month. Okay. 2UP is also has quests, which reward people for using the app on a daily basis and completing monthly engagement goals. Those who complete quests will be entered in a raffle to win a real-world prize like a gaming headset, a gaming chair, or even a new console. 2UP is one network that unites gamers. And Stephanie Lincoln, there's so many different consoles, and there are all these different forms and communities. We wanted to unify everything, and put everyone in one place. We knew that there was a need for something that was more intimate. We wanted to deliver a way for that same community to connect one-on-one, on-screen and off-screen, and bring people together. 2UP has been bootstrapped since its inception. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, if you want, I'll check it out. Why not? Okay, that's the end of the roundup. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna just switch to Call of Duty. Just give me about 2 minutes. I'll be back.